Hey everybody, astrology time. Shane here, daily-astrocat.com. Got a big announcement for you, but got some astrology for you too. First, the announcement. This episode and the two following it are going to be available immediately on the podcast. That way you're going to be able to go 1, 2, maybe even 3 days out. Keep on going. I have written these as far out as a month in advance, so this is nothing new for me, and it does not take away from the podcast or the predictions or in any sort of way. What it does do, though, is it is going to give a chance for it to populate on Spotify, and hopefully that you'll be able to get that on the day of. It'll become available on the day of. That's really the goal, because it seems to be a lag there as far as where it's appearing on Spotify. And Spotify has actually gained almost as much as Apple as far as podcasting. So with that being said, that's a very big thing. I'm still going to schedule it out so it shows up the day of on TikTok and probably Facebook/Instagram. Although they don't get the long version there, they do get the long version on TikTok. So with that, let's go. So the moon for Thursday is going to be in Cancer all day long. Look, a typo on yesterday's thumbnail made a guy said Canceri. So, and I just laughed and I had to look it up because I'm like, Canceri. I'm like, no, that's not what it is, right? So I had to look up Cancer in Italian, and it's actually cancro. So just a little info to get your day started. Now, the Cancer moon, the cancro moon, will be a little nicer than yesterday's version of it, just a little bit, right? We had that drive, that Saturn drive, but it really didn't. It didn't turn into anything good because, we're still caught in those emotions and stuff like that. By the time the afternoon settled in, everything was pent up and gone, and it was like, oh, okay, now we can breathe. So, it may have started out a 4, but, it was transitional. The numbers, they're just generalizations. They try to capture the flavor of the day. So I felt like I was waiting for other people forever, when in fact, they're actually waiting for me. So such is the nature of a 4, right? Look, today we have action on our side, and that action is going to get us somewhere. Now, it's important to define things in your mind as the absolute best case scenario. Why? Well, that's because the moon will be conjunct Jupiter. So that's going to get us thinking big, right? We go big, and Jupiter goes big or goes home. Jupiter is home and is big and is exalted in Cancer. So the big ideas that we're getting are going to be really big. Now, we mentioned the other day that, we're kind of feeling like we're held back a little bit. Well, Saturn actually invites this big. And now that the sun is conjunct Saturn, it's just like, yeah, bring it on. We're ready for this challenge. Mars is still very much in an aspect with Jupiter. And Jupiter being conjunct with the moon means that the moon's going to carry some of that Mars energy into Jupiter. And that is where our action comes from today. And that is why this is being released for that day. All works out, right? Just an idea I had when I was scanning numbers and things like that. Look, this is not without a track record either. Think about it. If you think about last year's Cancer season, this is, where things started to change and things started to morph in your mind, and you were like, okay, maybe we can do something a little different, a little better. This intuition is going to prove to be spot on. Your intuition for today will prove to be spot on. Will this do what it's supposed to do? The intuition says yes, it will. This will have the desired effect that I want, and that is going to be kind of good. So whatever you're planning on, I think you should probably do the same thing. And, I hope you're going to be ready for this, right? Because the key word is dive, like diving in. We're just going to dive. We're going to go in the water. We're going to pull this thing forward. We're going to pull Aries season along, kicking and screaming. We're just going to do this, right? Because eventually that it's going to build. And when it builds, that energy is going to be irrepressible. So the color is shining mother of pearl. Just not a mother of pearl, but, pearl has many mothers, right? I would hope so. Anyway, otherwise you wouldn't have little oysters kicking around. The sun in Aries may know a thing or two, especially with conjunct Saturn, right? Saturn, of all things, is urging us forward. But this is a test. It's always a test with Saturn. To move forward in such, in such an easy way, it's just too easy, right? We got to do it intuitively. We got to go into it, and we got to involve both Jupiter and Mars. That's what's going to make it happen. That's what's going to make it kind of intuitive and brilliant and kind of special, right? Because we also have Mercury kicking back there. And so any thoughts and ideas we have are going to be very powerfully guided by intuition. So, Mars. Okay, Jupiter represents the scope of what we want. Mars is the means by which we will do so. So to achieve it, right? The way we're going to achieve it. Ideas born out of this vague notion of what would be best need to be backed up with some solid progress. It's not only healthy but vital that we allow our efforts the room for expansion. You'll be surprised by how basic this change is. It is a basic change, but it's a change. It's a shift of energy. It's very subtle, but you feel it. You can definitely feel it. Just tune yourself in, and you can feel that shift of energy, and what kind of impact implementing is going to have on your efforts. We're tuning into those higher vibrations now, right? We're going to let it go. We're just going to go. And it's back to a beginning, in a sense. A beginning. The summer of last year, when we thought a change of pace would be good. We were in a previous timeline before, and now that is destined to change. We tap into that anticipatory energy once again, right? With a little help from the moon, Mars, and Jupiter. Keep things practical, and don't let it get too far out ahead of you, okay, in front of you. You're going to find that this change is going to be really good, but we're going to be going through it as we do it, so let's just change it up. And Venus is conjunct Chiron tonight. Challenge yourself to take a stand regarding personal health. Shane, I'm talking to you. Directly to you, all right? Newer ways of doing things can create time. And that time can be used to stick to routines that we may have established before, that we haven't been following, or maybe we want to just step into something different. Or maybe we're keeping on with it, but now we can get some more time dedicated to it, like maybe walking outside with the weather being better, right? That's good. Now, step out of your comfort zone and into something you need to work for. That's kind of what that stuff is like, right? This is good for everything. That's right, because that increased activity increases ideas, increases time to think, right? We take ourselves out of context. We go out into nature, and we allow ourselves a chance to touch grass and just be able to commune with the vibrations and the powers that be. And that is also a very good thing. So, in 127 AD, this is a long time back, going way back, the astronomer and mathematician Ptolemy begins his observations of the heavens that lasted until about 141 AD. So, Ptolemy making his observations. And our birth is Leonard Nimoy. We had James Kirk the other day, who knew the bridge of the Enterprise was so full of Aries energy, right? Leonard Nimoy, born in 1931, died in 2015. You know him as Spock. He was also on Mission Impossible, and he was a director. He did the Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock, and he also did 3 Men and a Baby. So he's born in Boston, Massachusetts, and like I said, died in 2015, and that's all I have for you. So let me know if this is working for you. Hit me up in the comments, okay? If you hear it on the podcast, hit me up on the comments. Let me know where you're listening from. And that way there, we get to expand this out, and maybe we get more people involved with daily-astrocat.com. So let's sum it up, shall we? The keyword is dive, and the color is a shining mother of pearl. That's all I have for you. Thank you so much. Appreciate and love every single one of you. Today is a 6. Happy astrocatting.